Right, this tutorial is going to show you how to add an effect, and there are hundreds of different effects and settings that you can play around with. But basically what I'd like to do is so all of this comes in, I'd like connections, the word connections, to do something interesting. After this spins twice, I'd like it to do something right about here. Maybe after, right as that's happening. Maybe that's a good time. So what I'd like to do is I would like to add an effect. There's all kinds of effects and presets over here in this panel where you can apply an effect. And what you do is you find the effect that you'd like, and you have to drag it down to the layer that you want to apply the effect to. It's also up here under effects. So you have to select the layer that you want to apply an effect to. And when you work with effects, it's a lot of just playing around and figuring out what effect you want. There's probably a resource online that tells you what all of these are going to look like and do, but until you start playing around with them, you're really not going to know. But I'm just going to try this noise and grain, and I'm going to try turbulent noise, okay? So what this did was it pulled out an effects control panel up here, and it added an effect layer to this connect layer. So when I want to start animating this turbulent noise, I need to start adding keyframes in here. So if I want it to be a fractal type, I can add a keyframe, and between here and here I'm going to move ahead to 8, and I want to change a setting on the fractal type, maybe turbulent sharp. I could go back to this keyframe and I could I could move this back, and I could add another keyframe if I wanted to adjust the brightness and the contrast of that effect. I could adjust the type of noise. Looks like linear or spline. But let's take a look and watch just the connections. And notice that there is a little bit of a wave color transition, how the grays, it almost creates like a little bit of a turbulence in there. And so when you start playing with effects, it's really just that. You have to just play around with some things. If it doesn't work, undo it. So you could select any one of these effects and apply it to any one of these layers. And at this point, I'd like you to just kind of play around with some different effects and see what works, what doesn't, play around with the different settings of those effects, and just kind of poke around. There's a lot that this program can do, but I want you to just focus on playing with some of the very basic effects. And that's it. And once you're done playing with all the effects, I'd like you to go in and start animating your own logo.